Hey everyone, welcome to Traders Cards and Collectibles. My name is Todd, and we're going to go over the top 20 comic sales of eBay for the last 7 days. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would appreciate you subscribing and ringing that bell. Sharing also is much appreciated. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, let's kick this off with number 20, Walking Dead number 100 Red Foil Edition. It is graded CGC 9.8 and it did sell for $1,399 with a buy it now price. The most recent sale I could find on Go Collect was August for $1,150. You could actually picked up a copy of this book in a 9.8 back in March. There were a couple sales ranging from $550 to $650. The book had seen a previous high all the way back in May of 2017 where it sold for $2,500. On to number 19 is an Amazing Spider-Man number 64, 1968 comic, also graded CGC 9.8, had a Vulture appearance. This was also sold at a buy it now price of $13.99. Most recent sale, August, there were a couple of them, one for $1,000 and one for $1,380. And then a previous sale in July of 20 for also $1,000. Coming in at number 18, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 1. This is a fifth printing, CGC 9.8, sold for $1,375 with a buy it now price. There was a sale on December 10th of this year for $14.40. Before that, the last sale was March, in which you could have picked up this comic for $285. Quite an increase from March to December. Quite a return on your money if you have a copy of this graded 9.8. Number 17, Darth Vader number 3. It's a 2015 comic with the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. It's a CGC 9.8 and it sold with a buy it now price of $1,449. Most recent sale, amazingly, was in November for $275, but before that, September, there were a couple sales, one for $975 and one for $720, and then going back to August, one for $900 on this particular book. At number 16, El Beto, number 4, CGC 9.8, 1985 comic. This sold for a buy it now price of $14.50. This book also has seen quite the rise in price, as the last reported sale was April of 2020 for $500. Before that, in November for $549, and it did see a high before this sale in August of 19 at $775. Another Amazing Spider-Man hitting the list this week at number 15 is Amazing Spider-Man 316, also graded CGC 9.8. It's the first Venom cover, newsstand edition. This sold at a price of $14.99 with a buy it now. Last two sales that I could see were both from November, one for $1,500 and one for $1,700. At number 14, Star Wars number 68. First Mandalorian and Origin of Boba Fett, CGC 9.8, ended up selling at a buy it now price of $17.80. A couple previous sales in November, one for $1,400 and one for $1,125. Back in August, just a month previous to that, you could have picked up this book in a 9.8 at $445. Price is definitely on the rise. This isn't the only Star Wars you're going to see on the top 20 sales list for this past 7 days. Number 13, Invincible Iron Man number 9, variant cover, 2016 comic, graded CGC 9.8, also a buy it now price of $1,799. This is a new high for this comic, as Go Collect puts the FMV at roughly $1,200. Number 12 this week, Conan the Barbarian number 24, CGC 9.8, the first Red Sonja. Buy it now price of $19.99. Go Collect has the FMV at $1,250, and there really hadn't been any recent sales close to this $2,000 mark that we're seeing now. Last couple of sales, one in August for $12.95 and June for $13.20, so definitely seeing a very nice increase in this book. Alright, coming in at number 11 is the only autograph comic to make the top 20 this week. It is a Star Wars #1 Luke Skywalker blank cover from 2015. It is graded CGC 9.8 and it is signed by Dave Dorman. I didn't find much on this book. I actually didn't find anything on this book when I was searching on Go Collect. If anybody has any further sales information about this book, drop a note in the comments. Thanks. Alright, at number 10, Star Wars The Clone Wars #1, CGC 9.8, sold at a buy it now price of $22.95. Recent sales here in this past month, December, one for $22.47 and one for $21.26. The last few months holding pretty steady right around the $2,000 mark. At number 9, Avengers 87. This is a 1971 comic, graded CGC 9.8. It's the origin of Black Panther. This also sold at a buy it now price of $24.98. Not really too many recent sales of this book. The last sale was February of 18 that I could find, and it sold for $17.49. Before that was June of 13 for $750. Definitely a rare book. I don't see it come up too often. Probably a really great buy at $24.98. At number 8, Incredible Hulk 162, CGC 9.8, the first appearance of Wendigo. This sold at a buy it now price of $26.40. Last couple sales, both in July, one for $1,800 and one for $1,860. Those were both through Heritage. And before that, April 19 on eBay for $24.30. Coming in at number 7 is a G.I. Joe #21, a Real American Hero, 1984 comic newsstand edition. Also is the first appearance of Storm Shadow. It's a CGC 9.8 and it sold at a buy it now price of $32.49. Recent sales, November of 2020 was $26.40 and $26.50. In October, it hit the $3,000 mark with a sale of $3,051. This is definitely a new high for this book at $32.49. At number 6, Batman Adventures. It's a newsstand edition of the first Harley Quinn and graded CGC 9.8. This is only one of 2 comics that made the top 20 list this week that was sold via auction. A lot of activity on this book with 27 bids, with the winning high bid being $34.50, which is also the highest I've seen this book go for as I researched recent sales. There were 2 sales earlier this month, one on December 7th and one on December 4th, one for $22.80 and one for $2,000. This sales price at $34.50 definitely is a new high for this book. At number 5 is a book that I could find no previous sales data on. It's a Max Half red foil edition, said to only have 10 printed, and that there are no 9.8 graded copies out there of this book. It sold for a buy it now price of $49.95, and it is number 5 on our list. At number 4, Star Wars The Clone Wars #1, CGC 9.8. This is a Dark Horse Special Edition 100. Ended up selling with a buy it now price of $5,000. The most recent sale I could find is November for $41.99, and you could have snagged this book back in May as sales were averaging $1,200 to $1,300 a copy. Also coming in at number 3 is the Star Wars The Clone Wars #1, CGC 9.8 Dark Horse Special Edition 100. This particular copy beat out number 4 spot by getting a buy it now price of $5,200. Making the list at number 2 this week is Eternals #2. It is a 30-cent variant, 1976 comic, graded CGC 9.8, with a buy it now price of $6,150. To my surprise, Go Collect didn't have any sales data on the 30-cent variant. They did, of course, on the 25-cent cover, with the most recent sale of a CGC 9.8 being $899 on December 5th. And making the top spot out of our top 20 list this week is Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. It is the land variant, CGC 9.8, sold for a buy it now price of $6,500. If you would have been lucky enough to snag this book back in April, there were a couple sales, one for $2,399 and one for $2,000. The most recent sale prior to this was September for $6,000. Well, that's it for this week's top 20 comics that sold on eBay the last 7 days. If you made it to the end, I do appreciate it. Again, if you find this type of content enjoyable, love to see some comments. Definitely love to see you subscribe, ring the bell, share the video. Until next time, guys, I appreciate you and have a happy holidays. Thanks.